Good evening and welcome to tonight's breaking news. A 16-car pileup has occurred on Interstate 35E to the north of downtown St. Paul. No casualties have been reported, however, as many as 21 injuries have occurred, with 2 of the injured in critical condition. All drivers and passengers involved in the accident have been transported to Regions Hospital to receive treatment for their injuries. Currently, all entrances to Interstate 35E have been closed at this time. In other news, there appears to be an influx of calls made to 911 and other services regarding multiple reports of an unknown cause.
The civil authorities have issued a civil danger warning for all of Minnesota, beginning at 11 p.m. and ending at 11:30 p.m. KSTP. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. Numerous calls delivered to law enforcement and medical personnel over the past several hours have detailed the inability of waking several individuals from their sleep, no matter the method used. No stimuli have been successful in waking any civilian, regardless of physical condition or age. This phenomenon has resulted in hospitals at full capacity, and they are unable to take in any more patients at this time. At this time, do not fall asleep. There is no known reason as to why this is occurring, and it is advised to remain awake. Attempt to stay awake. Do not fall asleep. More information will be broadcast when it is available.
We're still trying to get as much information as we can. If you are just joining us, we have no new information regarding the unusual events taking place within the entirety of the state. So far, what we have currently is that many individuals are suddenly unable to wake themselves from sleep, which has caused a spike in calls to many medical centers and law enforcement. Those who have been admitted to hospitals do not have any sort of medical emergency or issue, despite many tests. At this time, we are still awaiting any new information from our state government, the emergency alert system, or from any authority. The events occurring today have no known origin.
The civil authorities have issued an administrative message for all of Minnesota, beginning at 1 o'clock a.m. and ending at 1:30 a.m. KSTP. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. At this time, more civilians have fallen asleep and are unable to wake from their sleep. Due to this, many vehicular accidents have caused numerous injuries and casualties. In addition, it has also been discovered that a loss of consciousness can also result in the inability to regain consciousness. Those who are unable to wake up or regain consciousness are also shown to have an extreme rise in blood pressure and heartbeat, past what could be considered fatal. There have also been reports of patients having massive blood loss, yet no drop in blood pressure, despite the loss being fatal. If you are able to remain awake, do not fall asleep by any means. Do not attempt to sleep if it is not needed. If you fall asleep, you may not wake up.
As you may have just heard from the emergency alert system, a full loss of consciousness from any sort of injury or reaction is enough to be unable to regain consciousness. There have been many attempts to wake up any of the affected, with no success so far. Blood loss is occurring to those asleep, and despite the sudden change, this is not fatal to the patients, despite it normally being so. We will attempt to deliver any new information, and we will continue to remain on the air for as long as possible, so please stay tuned.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Department of Homeland Security. The phenomenon affecting the entirety of Minnesota has begun to affect multiple states across the nation at sporadic intervals. Those who have fallen asleep or lost consciousness have been unable to be woken up or regain consciousness. Total blood loss has occurred in those affected, with the affected in a state of a medical anomaly, as they are not deceased despite the fatal changes. Attempts have been made to determine the cause of the phenomenon, with no success. According to reports delivered to law enforcement, the sounds of distant noise similar to death rattles can be heard from unknown sources. Civil unrest is currently occurring across much of the country, with the National Guard attempting to maintain social order. At this time, do not fall asleep. You will not be able to wake up if you do so. Attempt to remain awake by any means.
This is a message from the National Emergency Management Agency. Information regarding a widespread phenomenon is currently being delivered as it presents a risk to the general public. Those currently in a state of sleep or loss of consciousness are unable to regain consciousness for unknown reasons. Any attempt made to awaken them has ended in failure. Patients in medical care are also said to have total blood loss with a sudden increase in blood pressure and heart rate, despite the changes being fatal. The bodies of the affected are not deceased, and no visible change is present. Those under the effects of this phenomenon are to be left alone and no attempts should be made to awaken them. It has been said that numerous physical and visible anomalies are present near the affected. You are ordered not to approach these anomalies, as their presence has no known result that is public knowledge. As a result of this phenomenon, mass panic and unrest are currently taking place across much of the country. Please attempt to remain indoors and to remain awake. This phenomenon's spread is not yet known, and the scope of the areas affected have yet to be determined. TV and radio stations will remain on the air delivering information.
This is ABC TV. We apologize for the interruption to this broadcast. Normal programming has been suspended indefinitely. Please stand by for information regarding this national emergency. This is an emergency warning. Spread of phenomenon relating to loss of consciousness or falling asleep resulting in failure to return affected to normal. The current threat level is emergency, meaning an emergency is in progress that can affect you, and precautions should be taken to ensure your safety. Seek shelter where you are now. Visual and physical anomalies are visible near the affected, and coming into contact with said anomalies, which have taken the appearance of leeches, will result in an extreme risk to your life, through varying means. The phenomenon occurring in major cities and international locations has begun to appear across all cities within the country. Falling asleep will result in an inability to wake from sleep, followed by a spike in blood pressure and heartbeat, past what could be deemed fatal, soon followed by a noticeable loss in total blood volume, despite the loss causing death soon after, with the anomalies appearing above the body of the affected. Despite what their appearance may suggest, those affected by this phenomenon will not cease bodily functions, but it has been discovered that they will awake from their sleep or regain consciousness almost immediately after the anomalies appear and will begin to violently attack those not under the effects of the event. There is no shelter that can be used or that is available that can protect you from this occurrence. Do not attempt to let anyone inside of your home, no matter if they are recognizable or not. Attempt to defend yourself to the best of your ability if you are attacked or if your shelter is broken into. Do not fall asleep. You will not be able to recover if you do so. If you have any method of staying awake, use said ability to prevent sleep and prevent the phenomenon from spreading. Civil unrest and riots are occurring, with limited success in slowing down more violence. It is unknown if any media stations will remain available, however, it is advised to ensure you have access to a battery-powered radio for updates and instructions on 531 kHz on the AM band. Updates are also available via www.gov.au. Many stations are being rendered unavailable at this time. Seek shelter with
Greetings, my fellow Americans. I know there may not be many of you left hearing this, so I will not try to make this longer than it has to be. For those available, I know you are afraid. I know you are wondering about the future of our nation and elsewhere as this event has plagued us all. You must survive. You must thrive. You must keep staying awake. The darkness of a new future looms over us all, but we are vigilant even in the face of this grave threat. It's time we make sure civilization thrives again, and many of us continue to create more hope. I wish everyone the best of luck in these dark times. Remember, you have not been abandoned. You have not been forgotten. May God bless you, and may He save us all.
Universe PH000 Omicron has been logged. The rider has been informed of its existence. No divulging is necessary, so full sleep leeches have been added to entities and information regarding that has been logged. No divulging is necessary. Exiting the update.